The COVID statistics show there are no grounds to prevent Gibraltar entering into the next phase of unlock. The Chief Minister, however, warned that the public health emergency continues. Nevertheless, Fabian Picardo said we are on track to unlock the rock on the 1st of August.
Public health advice is that this is not grounds for stopping the unlocking process at this stage. We would need to see a sustained increase over 5 working days, taking positive cases per day to between 10 and 20, and a large number of those resulting in admissions to the GHA before any review would be likely. The important thing is that swift public action is taken with each of these cases in order to prevent onward transmission of the virus. With these numbers of the diagnosis of the virus and the absence of pressure at this stage in the GHA, the Cabinet is advised and has agreed that we can safely proceed to unlock Phase 3. We will also proceed to stand down from the major incident as from midday today.
Legislation to extend the opening hours of retail shops, along with public health regulations, are now in place. Places of worship can also resume their services, with some cultural and sporting activities also allowed to restart. Mr. Picardo also confirmed that antibody testing of GHA staff will begin today, before being rolled out into the wider community. On the recent rise in number of positive COVID cases, Mr. Picardo stressed these have come from the random testing of frontline staff, which were all asymptomatic and have not required hospital help.
The position remains that the positives come from the asymptomatic frontline, from the random swabbing. In fact, we expected to see numbers increasing as we expanded our surveillance strategy, and that includes a higher swabbing rate testing of these frontline workers. It would in fact have been surprising if there had been no increase in cases. The important thing to note is that these individuals either have no symptoms or were only mildly symptomatic.
On business, Mr. Picardo revealed that CELAC has been working on new measures, including the issue of the £30 million loan guarantee scheme, which he said had been well received by the committee. Since the government introduced the import duty waiver, the Chief Minister said 116 new vehicles had been sold, keeping the industry going. At the beaches, the Chief Minister said legislation will carve out periods of time specifically for the elderly and the vulnerable, such as those with disabilities. Answering press questions, the Chief Minister said the frontier will likely become more fluid once Spain begins to ease down its own interprovincial restrictions. He said the pandemic has been a generational event, which will change how the government spends and what it will recover from the public.